There is one astrology placement that I have not seen enough astrologers talk about on social media this year. My name is Anna, and I'm an energy healer shaman, and I love to share little ways in which you can become your own self healer. This year, on January 11th, we had the South Node move into the sign of Virgo. And the North Node and South Node change signs roughly about every 18 to 18 and a half months. When it comes to the South and North Node making their way throughout the entire 12 zodiac signs, it takes about 18 and a half years. That information right there made me question about midlife crises, or if the crises that we have could be tied into these South Node reawakenings. When it comes to the South Node returning to your own placement within your natal chart, this can really trigger the past karmas that you may not have dealt with up until that point. I know for myself, this year was a big one, and it really tied me into the essence of what was going on collectively, not just personally. And I believe this also plays a part into the shift that we've had going on since Pluto moved into Aquarius. We are moving into a whole new way of being, and the South Node in Virgo was a perfect way to really clear up past mindsets around control that we may still have embedded deep within us. Areas of control may not just be your own personal, they may be something that lives on in your lineage or something that you came to shift and change within different societal groups. Everybody's soul is on a different path. So never judge because you don't know what other people have going on. It's really important that you focus on yourself because control is not harmony. Control actually is a form of manipulation. And I really want to stress that the ways in which we moved through the world up until this point are no longer going to resonate as we continue to shift collectively into the Pluto Aquarian energy. Being someone who has their South Node placement in Virgo, I'm here to tell you learning to let go of control and let God, let go and let God truly is the theme that will play on into 2026. On July 26th through the 27th, depending on where you're at, the South Node will move into Leo and the North Node will move into Aquarius. So what I have found on my journey that I would like to share with you guys is Virgo, when it is unhealthy, is hell-bent on control. And that is usually done through glorified manipulation. This is manipulation that does not look like manipulation. It looks like care. It looks like someone who is trying to do good for you, trying to support you, when in fact, they are not. At the base of their interaction, they're only caring about themselves. And it's really, it doesn't leave a good taste in one's mouth once people discover this. And one of the hardest things when it comes to realizing your essence of manipulation is the fact that you were trying to care, but you were caring from a place of fear rather than love. And that fear forced your energy to create either form some type of mask. Most of us in society do wear a mask to be accepted on some level. And it's important to work through those masks so you can know what personas actually resonate with you and are just a part of your essence and a part that you love to experience versus putting on in order to gain something. When you're doing something solely from the purpose of it lights you up, that is a different story than putting on a persona that hides a true essence of you is done in fear rather than done out of love and wanting to respect your light and respect your essence. Because Virgo is the virgin. And what I found with Virgo energy is it ties deeply into the mother wound and the mother or deep feminine wound. And this is something that I cleared out this year for myself. It's something that I personally, I believe, came in to shift. I believe a lot of women are doing this. How they go about doing this will be different for each person, but the deep feminine wounding comes from a society that basically pushed aside women. We had to support men. And you can see this in a lot of films and in a lot of different areas. But the one that always comes to mind is the movie about the big fat Greek wedding, where the wife is like, he's the head, but I'm the neck, and I turn the head. And that is a form of control. I control the man. But she does it in a way that is sneaky, opportunistic, and basically manipulative. And women for generations have been forced to implement this. They really have to have some type of autonomy in a male driven society. Women have been traumatized throughout the ages. So I don't want to downplay the need for this, but where we are at now, this manipulation, I believe, on its highest essence, will not serve us. I believe it's hurting us at this point. Actually, now that I'm saying this, I realize that most of our world has been built on Virgoian energy of that control. What can I do behind the scenes to get an end result? What mask do I need to put on? Just think of advertising agencies. Think of Mad Men. Like literally, now that I'm saying this, it's so it's just right in your face. It's so frustrating sometimes. But we as humans disassociate from the truth. We're very good at doing that. But when it hits us in the face, it's kind of one of those like, whoa moments. And I know when it came to my growth on my journey, I've had a few different times where I had to evaluate how I was resonating with this energy and what I needed to do to move out of it so my soul could progress. Now, mind you, I am a Virgo South Node, so I'm in this energy all the time. Collectively, I believe it just happened so perfectly. We are getting this jolt now at the very beginning of the Pluto in Aquarius energy. Pluto began its journey into Aquarius back in 2023 in March on the 23rd. So March 23rd, 2023. And then it did this back and forth weaving with its retrogrades, and it finally stationed direct in Aquarius back November 19th, 2024. So, right before this year, Aquarius was just shifting, and this is all about death and rebirth. Now, mind you, 2025 was a 9 year, and in numerology, that is all about endings. So, we have had a lot of endings coming into contact with the world around us. And when it comes to the Virgo South Node placement, we are asking for an end of a Virgoian way, and this is control. And one of the biggest lessons I learned for myself, and I want to share with you, is that control in its essence is chaos. When you have harmony, you don't have to control things, you don't have to manipulate things, and you don't have to fight for things. Yes, you can put boundaries down. Yes, you can put up barriers because things are going to bump into you. I always think of the human body when I make analogies because I'm looking at cells. And if you have a healthy cell, if things try to get in, it'll bounce off. If you have a good electrical magnetic system, in essence, that's what a cell is. If the electromagnetic essence of a cell is at its prime peak of health, nothing can penetrate that cell, truly. And same goes for us in essence. But many of us do not have an energy system that is truly firing off at its peak performance. And it became really clear to me this year that when you have a deep feminine wound, that need to control is so prevalent in your life. And when you have a feminine wound, this can be both in a man or a woman or whatever gender or essence you adhere to. We all have a masculine and feminine energy that flows and it intertwines within our body and within our energy fields. And if that feminine is wounded, it will have a disconnection from that flow between the feminine and masculine. And that usually is calling forward for us to do healing between the masculine and feminine energies. And I have found two specific ways in which you can do this. The first one is through astrology, and this is utilizing the natal placements of your chart in correlation with the placements of each season. And in my Astrology Chakra Connection course, I teach you exactly how to do this. And I also provide you with energy healing frequencies that you can implement to help you get into a deeper meditation state and also help you to clear blockages that are connected into your natal chart as well as the collective chart. And the collective chart connects into the transits, the retrogrades, the eclipse seasons, anything that's happening in the here and now. Those are the collective charts. That's what I call it. But I teach you how to clear your natal chart, work with the collective, and also how to connect into and basically facilitate a conversation between the masculine and feminine energies that every single season embodies. Taking time each month to not only clear any blockages that you may have, but sit down and understand what you have going on internally will show you point blank how you communicate, where your feminine wounds are, where your masculine wounds are, where you need to learn to have better coherence between the two. It is so powerful, and it's literally therapy once a month. I kid you not. You are playing therapist and you are playing mediator between those two signs. It is quite surreal. It is extremely powerful, and I'm going to list that below in the description. The second one, which is a deeper commitment, this is for people who know they need to clear blocks that are energetically stalling their lives, hindering their lives in a big way. These are people who know they need to clear generational trauma, that really want to clear chronic pain, people that have addictive habits that don't seem to clear no matter what. This is stuff that can support you in clearing and shifting into a new wave being, because when you shift your blueprint, you can shift your physical reality with greater ease. I know for myself last year, I did this 4 times. The first time I cleared generational trauma, 17 generations back on my mom's side, 16 generations back on my dad, and now I have a better relationship with my family, better than ever, because I cleared those blockages. It is like day and night, and the things that used to bother me no longer do. The second round I did was when I went into a job to supplement my income while I was creating these courses. And I ended up coming into contact with an unhealthy supervisor who really was trying to dim my light. And I realized a lot of things that this woman had, this chaos demon. She needed to control things, and me, in essence, was very dysregulating to her. And the way she handled me was from a place of manipulation. It was from a place of fear. And she wasn't allowing any love in. And I knew for myself, for my own health, because at that time I was trying to quit smoking cigarettes. And it's something that I've been working towards over the last year on and off. And I knew when the time was right, it would happen. But I sat there and my spirit team was like, if you stay here any longer, you will regress into unhealthy habits, because that work environment had allowed someone like her to stay. And the interesting thing is someone who is that chaotic, actually, she had a demon that would feed off of people's anger. And while I was going through this program, I was clearing out the blockages that this entity could attach into. And I remember at one point, because I went through this program, which helps you clear your aura, it helps you to realign your chakras, which are based around clearing the masculine and feminine, because most chakra courses only touch base on the masculine chakra system. They do not include the feminine. And so in me clearing this stuff out, I had finished the course. I remember at one point, like, my spirit guides were teaching me so much during this. They taught me how to absorb the hate and transmute it. It was very, very powerful. But at the end of completing what normally would take people a year, I did it in 3 months. My spirit guides are like, you're not supposed to stay here anymore, because if you were to stay, you would be in agreement with being in alignment with this energy. And I did not want to hold on to anger anymore. And I knew if I stayed, even though I do all this work to get happy, her demon would keep trying to make me angry so it could feed off of that. Do I think this woman knows about her demon? No. Do I think in her essence she wants to create that? I actually don't, because I did see kind, caring things, but because she has so much fear fueling her, and I don't know her history, but I know a little bit of a background. And knowing her background and her history, yes, I definitely think that fear is a thing that could definitely fuel her. And I get it. I absolutely get it. But at this point and where we are at in history, it's our jobs to take ownership of what we need to change so we can be free of that fear. For me, my fear that I had to let go of was letting go of the doubt that I'd be provided for. And it's something that I come into contact a lot, because it's something that I'm still working through. Because at the end of 3 months, my spirit guide said, you need to put in your 2 weeks notice for this day. And I was like, really? I thought I was going to go through this healing course and everything was going to be fine. I'd be able to handle this work environment. It'd be great. No, my guides told me to leave. And once I left that job, I ended up doing the program once again, and I ended up quitting cigarettes. I finally quit because I'd taken off the layering that needed to be relieved first before I could get into my own personal stuff. I cleared the traumas, curses from my family. I cleared the contracts that I had with society around the feminine wounds. And I'm very conscious now about how that aligns with the creation of this course. It showed me that people can really, as they go through this program, can choose their new trajectory in life, but it makes you really look at what is yours and what is somebody else's. It really forces you to take that ownership. And in essence, that is the work that everyone needs to do. And it's programmed 4 times in a year. So first time, generational trauma. Second time, it had to do with clearing out my agreements and soul contract around the feminine wounding. And then the third one was for my personal stuff. So it had to do with smoking. And I quit smoking. I quit biting my nails. And I went traveling to New York. And as a neurodivergent, I was so scared because I'm like, you're going to travel, you're not going to smoke. I didn't smoke. I went to a concert and I felt no one's energy. As a neurodivergent, not feeling people's stuff, I was totally in my body. That meant my energy field, my essence was strong enough that I wasn't taking on other people's stuff. That goes right back to my analogy of the human body. And when I did it for the 4th time, this was all about making my body more asymmetrical. And whenever you're dealing with physical stuff, it can be a little more cumbersome in a way, but it also will require you to focus on other energy systems. So once I cleared the aura and my chakras, which each situation had a totally different protocol that needed to be followed. In the course, I teach you an outline and I teach you how to adjust to each situation that you are dealing with. And in that process, it then called me to clear my meridians. And now it's calling me to have a physical practice to help with the realignment process. Because when you clear the blockages in your energetic system, what happens is you are clearing out these um, somatic holding points. And once they're released, your body can then start to move and recalibrate in alignment with that new blueprint. But for some people, depending on what it is, the first three, I really didn't need to incorporate the meridians. That I included the meridians. I was sleeping upright. I was starting to address other areas that had been ignored due to my smoking for 18 years. And I'd quit smoking before, but the urge to quit never truly left me. And in clearing the root causes, I was able to then no longer have that attachment. And I was now given space to create a new way of being and a new way of thinking. And that was brought about by realigning and harmonizing the masculine and feminine energies, and not just energies, but the energy systems that lie in my body. And now, every single day that's a part of my practice, especially where I'm at now, is regulating the masculine and feminine anxiety frequencies in my body, because each energy has a different type of anxiety. And the anxiety that most of our world is attuned to is masculine. That's the overdo, do. The feminine is more of a fawning, a freeze response. And the irony around this is you could have a feminine anxiety freeze, but you're still doing stuff. It's being busy, but not productive. So each morning I will sit there, do my meditation practice, and I will clear the polarity points that are connected to the masculine and feminine anxiety points in my body to help me get grounded for the day and to help me recalibrate my nervous system around a new way of being. And I have been including the Astrology Chakra Connection because I do think it's important to understand the essence of your makeup. And astrology is a beautiful way to understand it and work with it. Not to control your future, but how you can be like, okay, what do you want to show me right here in the now so I can be a better person and show up more fully as myself and be more of a magnet for the life that I want? That's the kind of stuff that I look for in astrology. Someone said it the other day. I was listening to this book online. Hold on one second. The book is I Don't Believe in Astrology by Deborah Silverman. She talks about esoteric astrology, and this is definitely my cup of tea, 100%. I didn't even know that that was a style of astrology because I never fully related to mainstream, and I'm still finding my essence. I love learning about astrology, every single type, every single facet of it. I think it is an ever growing practice for me. But incorporating the astrology chakra connection truly allowed me to get into the depths of my inner self because it helped me to clear the blockages in conjunction to my specific placements, as well as what was going on in society based on my location, really allowed me to tap more readily into the planetary shifts. It allowed me to see where I had blockages, where I needed to clear them, and it allowed me to build a practice around myself rather than what every astrologer was saying. And mind you, I think astrologers are there to be a beacon of hope to help guide you. But I see a lot of people love to bring fear into it, and I don't like that. And what I love about the Astrology Chakra Connection is every time you go into this practice, it allows you to tap more readily into your higher self. It is a meditation, and it's a practice that really can stay with you for every season because astrology is forever changing. Getting back to the North Node placement, we are in Pisces, and it's all about trust. And I love that when it comes to this year, especially after Pluto moving into Aquarius, we're being called to trust. And in essence, that is exactly what Piscean energy is. And this energy can be very scary because we as humans, we love that essence of control. But in reality, control can be false. Control can be chaos, but we don't view it that way for a number of different reasons. And one of the main one is our society views certain forms of control to be good, even though they're not, even though they're harmful to others. And I don't believe a lot of people want to be harmful, just like the woman that I worked with at my job, but she was. And it wasn't just me, there was a plethora of other people who had left prior to me. And it wasn't until an issue that happened with us that it got sent to HR. I didn't even mean it to go that far. Someone else said something, but I just laughed because I'm like, this is the energy of, if you try to control too much, it's going to backlash on you, because the Virgo energy in its essence is truly loving. And when it learns to trust and be in harmony with the Piscean energy, that's when it can create from a place of flow rather than from a place of do. That many feminine energies have been programmed to do due to the way our society has progressed. And this is a deep-seated wound. I know I'm doing, I'm wrapping back around to where I started, because I don't think Virgo control was something that truly was asked for. I think it's something that was brought upon us due to human nature, and also the lack of acceptance of other cultures, and just the simple progression of our world. And for me, I believe that we as a society can change that. But if we on a cellular level do not change the emotions that are embedded in the past and embedded to the collective beginnings of these woundings, if you look at mothers, because they were not given love by a husband, because usually marriage was a business transaction, women would seek that love and attention from a son, or their son simply was, or daughter was, their means of being taken care of. So they would manipulate, they would do things so their daughter or son would get placed in a higher state of wealth so they could be taken care of. And not just them, but also their kids. So it came from a distorted place of wanting to help, but it really came from fear. And this came from social structures and infrastructures that honestly have been around for a really long time. And even though we're in a modern society, I feel that they still are very much present, and they reverberate out into our modern day lives. And so for me, I had to ask myself, where have I been in agreement with this energy? Where can I learn from it? And where can I shift and change it? And as I healed and realigned my auric field and my chakra system in connection to the masculine and feminine, I was really able to get clear on those answers. When I tell you I went full ham on this Virgo South Node, I went all in. I didn't know I was going to do this much healing. Mind you, I am a South Node girly in Virgo. So this really impacted me probably tenfold more so than most people. But this is something that's going to follow us into 2026 until July 26th, like I mentioned before. So it'll be a closing out of, where are you needing to control things? Where in your life are you still holding on to stuff that does not serve you? Where are you still attached to this feminine wound? Do you have any idea? Look at your history. Look at your parents' history. Do some research into what has happened to your family lineage. What type of woundings have happened? What kind of family structures were they based off of? What culture were they in? These are the questions that I would start asking first. And then if you're someone like me who knew they wanted to clear out this stuff, because I had very plain and obvious issues that even though I had tried literally everything and nothing was working. And that's the main reason why I created all of these, because not only did I want to understand, but I wanted some resolve. And the Astrology Chakra Connection is a beautiful tool to support knowing your astrology energies and your astrology placements so that you can work with them. And then the blueprint of light and all the other magnet healing therapy frequencies programs that I offer help to clear the somatic polarity within your body, and not just your body, your energy systems. And that's the work for people who really want to get into it and are really committed to doing the work, because it is work. Energy work is it's powerful stuff, and it will change your life for the better, but it may take you on a journey that you may not know what the outcome is. It's very Piscean energy. You are learning to trust as you go through it. You're learning to trust your inner self, and you're learning to trust your higher self. We have not been taught to trust our bodies, to listen to our bodies, to be with our bodies. We've not been taught to trust our higher selves. That is at the essence how we connect into that Christ-like energy. I call it Christ-like energy, God energy, higher self, higher being, whatever it is, that essence of love that is not fear. And it can feel scary because we've been taught not to trust it. And just like in a toxic relationship, people tend to go back to those toxic relationships, those toxic habits, because it feels safe to them, regardless of what logic tells us otherwise. Which is why it's crucial to clear the somatic patterns in your energetic system if you're truly wanting lasting change. Because we are about to head into a year one. And if you're wanting new beginnings, clearing out your energetic system is the way to do it. But I know that everybody is on their own journey, which is why I created multiple different programs for different people, depending on where they are at. But I know this is an astrology post, and I want to really stress that the Astrology Chakra Connection, while it's not as detailed and does not align the masculine and feminine chakra system, it does work with the 7 chakras of the body. And it is a beautiful, more gentle way to cleanse and clear your energy system. And for some of you, that might be enough. But the structure in which I teach you how to do it is such a game changer. So for me, I did it all last year. I started working with the masculine, feminine. It's something I added into the program, and it's something that's been the utter game changer, because it's allowed me to see how I've showed up in relationships. And it really forced me to take ownership of my feelings, of my emotions, of my manipulations, of my fears. It really forced me to confront that Virgo energy. So I'm no longer the patronizing, controlling mother that's always like, no, 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 no. And everyone's shit comes from a dysregulated nervous system. That's all it is. Like, I had a grandma who could never sit down. You're like, oh, sit down and eat with us. Oh, no, it's okay. The other day I caught myself doing it. I was like, it's because her nervous system was so dysregulated. There was nothing wrong with her. She was just dysregulated. But the thing is when you start regulating your nervous system, you start to come into contact with all the stuff you were running from. So some people choose to stay dysregulated because they want to keep running from the truth. Piscean energy is the truth. There's no getting around it, because you're in the pure now. That's so woof. And to be in the pure now, you have to learn to release your anxieties of the future, and you have to learn to release the regrets, the pains, the hurts of the past. And for a lot of us, I feel that's going to be the work that's going to be coming up in this next 18-year cycle of the South nodes. Maybe I'm wrong, but this Virgo energy was so intense. And that need to release control is so vital and critical. So I'm going to leave you with this. I'm going to ask you, where in your life do you need to let go of control? Where are you secretly manipulative? And if you're not secretly manipulative, why do you do it? Why? And if that control makes you feel powerful, what would happen if you stopped? Would you truly not be powerful? What fear? And if you feel fear around not being powerful, where is that fear coming from? Where did you form that fear? Find that trickle effect of, if you stop doing the manipulation, what would you not get? Is that true? This is my little coaching bit. Is that true? Because I guarantee you it is not. Because the one thing I want you to stop and look at is the life that you have. Is it, in its essence, everything that you truly desired? And when I mean everything, I'm talking about your relationships, your business, your family life, and your health. You got to be honest about all four. Because when I was a massage therapist and I worked on people who were extremely rich, they did not have all four. Their health was in the shitter completely on a lot of them. Did not mean they were terrible people. I think they just lived in a world where, they were not allowed to regulate their nervous system. They had to work. And as we continue to grow in alignment with technology and the energy that brings, what people were able to do and achieve, and the productive levels that they were able to adhere to is going to shift. It's not going to be the same because our nervous systems are not made to handle this. And they can if we shift from the old way of being, which means we have to let go of the old ways of control that supported us up until this point. And I really want to stress that when you have harmony, homeostasis, true homeostasis, you let go of control and you surrender. And that to me is like being in the zone. And athletes get into that zone. They just do things naturally and they just flow and they don't even have to think about it. It's just automatic. That's what surrender is, when you truly just are in the moment, in the now, because you can pick up on all the gifts. You can pick up on the true essence of what Virgo is, which is a gift. That true, gentle, feminine energy. And that essence of Virgo has become so distorted due to our society and what we have been forced into in a way. And I feel very strongly that this is a time where we can start to shift out of that, but that takes ownership of owning where we have aligned with that, getting clear on why, forgiving ourselves, and making a plan on how we can shift out of that. And there are many different resources, but I just start there with a journal. Ask yourself, if you align with it and why, where it formed. Could have formed in your families, could have been a society thing. There are a number of different things. Third would be to forgive yourself. And that is the main reason why I love the blueprint of light, is because it helps you to clear out energies that weren't yours and energies that were. It allows you to clear out all of the emotions, because there's about 20 plus collective emotions that are in there, where you work with them and you learn to work through emotions rather than neglect them. And forgiveness can be heavy at times. I'm not going to downplay that, but once you truly learn to forgive yourself, because in essence, that's what we are truly mad at, is we are mad at ourselves. Okay. And you learn to forgive that. That's where true freedom starts to come in, because when you can forgive yourself, you can forgive another. I forgive another to the full extent, because I've done forgiveness, but it's always come back around. It was never a full, I forgive you. It was only when I learned my woundings, cleared my woundings, that I was able to be in complete empathy, and I was able to bring a new level of forgiveness, because I had received that forgiveness. I knew, because once you know what it means and what it feels like, then you can really provide it for somebody else. And some people may not need the full program. I know I did, because of the depths of my woundings and also how sensitive I was. I needed help protecting my energy field and strengthening it because it was severely damaged from years of abuse. Also, energetically being taken advantage of by people throughout my whole life, being a neurodivergent, a shaman without any type of teachings. So that was really dysregulating for me. I had a lot going on top of being someone who who can see and feel past lives and can uh, at times be a medium. Not at times, I definitely can. So there's a lot of things for me growing up in a world that didn't accept that. It's been a journey. So for me, I needed that assistance, and I believe a lot of people out there probably resonate with that, and that's why I wanted to make this video, because for me, this year was all about letting go of control. It was all about releasing what no longer served me. And it was all about confronting how I was a part of it. And that's the humbling work, is how did I agree to this? Most people love to say, oh, this was done to me. Oh, that other person does it. But you, on some level, energetically align with it. Even if you didn't call it forward, it may be somewhere in your past. It might be a past life. It might be from 17 generation back, like it happened with me. Like there's so many ways in which we may be called forth at this time to clear stuff so it doesn't move forward with us. And the only way I know that we can truly do this is if we heal ourselves, because very similar to forgiveness, until we truly understand it on a soul essence, we're not going to be able to provide that. We are going to keep coming at it from a place of wounding rather than healing. And you can't heal something if you're still wounded on the inside, no matter what good intentions you're trying to do, which I see so adamantly, which is so painful, because Virgo at its essence, I don't think tries to manipulate. I do think some do because they want control. But the people that don't want control, that want to just feel safe, I think that's a different level of wanting control. I think that's normal, just wanting to feel safe, wanting to help people. I think there are different levels of the Virgo essence, and control is a false way of feeling safe. Even if you are trying to do good and you have these woundings, you will subconsciously bring that energy into the work you're creating, which I think is the most souring part for me, because there's so much work that I was trying to do for good, but it wasn't until I cleared out my woundings that I realized, I was like, I wasn't doing it from the highest good. I wasn't making things from the best intentions. This is utterly crazy. It wasn't until I confronted all my Virgo stuff, which I did the year prior to this big shift. To be honest, it was in the October of 2024. Energetically, I tend to do things a little bit beforehand. I've noticed this. I tend to pick up on shifts before they happen. And for me, after I had a really bad breakup, I asked myself, I was like, okay, where do I need to make change? Because I agreed to this. I'm not going to be a victim here. I looked at every relationship I had in my life, and I was like, wherever this energy is, I have to let it go. And that's when I left my job. That's when I said no to that relationship. That's when I put boundaries down on all my friends. That's when I disconnected from social media, because I am a firm believer that you can disconnect to reconnect. I don't think every relationship is toxic, but I do feel that a revitalization is necessary, a rebirth process. And that's exactly what this year has been about, is utter rebirth. And that will continue into 2026, because we have the 9-year moving into 1, and this Virgoian energy of learning how to release control is going to keep coming up again and again until your essence of control, or what you have going on, because everyone is different, everyone's going to have a different journey. It's up to you to take the steps to understand the why it's happening in your journey. That's the most crucial thing, the why. And many people have different things, and let me tell you, It, the shifts into fire signs are going to be perfect times to clear out this energy, to burn it away. On January 26th, Aries moves into Neptune, which means it's going to burn away that illusion. Let these fire signs really cleanse and clear, bringing that heat. Use it. Don't lose it. Trust me, because if you ignore this, I'm just picturing this huge wildfire. Like, you can use this or it's just going to happen. There's no which way around it. So do you want the fire to consume you or do you want it to work for you? Next one is Aries and Saturn, and this is all about burning down the boundaries or the pillars of control that no longer serve you. So it's important that you understand that if things are shifting quite intensely at that time, it's good. It's crucial that you take in the information and be still and be present with it. You become one with the flames. You do not run from them. Spiritual flames are different than literal flames, people. I don't know why I have to say it, but I feel like I do for some of you out there. Maybe it was just a reminder. I felt like that was kind of mean of me to say it like that. I'm sorry. And right before we hit the new astrology year for 2026, we are going to have the first retrograde of 2026, which will be February 26th to March 20th. And whenever there is Mercury retrograde, that literally reminds me of the shift that happens every 3 hours. Every 3 hours, your nose shifts each side. So it favors one nostril over the other. And that powers different areas of the brain more readily. And I realized that our society functions on a right brain or a right brain way of being, which would be breathing through the left. And then Mercury retrograde is like switching over to your right nostril being left brain, which is creative. That's that feminine energy. So this is another way to bring in more information off of the planetary shifts that just happened to support you in understanding how you can release control in a place of love. And I just want to end this by saying, I don't want you to feel in fear of this. I know I gave you a lot of information, but the point of me sharing all of this was to inspire you to take ownership of your stuff. And you may feel a little bit behind because Virgo South Node is almost done. But let me tell you, Leo South Node is all about being in pure alignment of yourself. So if you feel like you're behind, this is the time. That you're never too late. This is simply information. And if you're watching this video years down the line, who knows? I don't know where the world will be at. I don't know where this video will be at. But whenever you found this video, please trust that's when you need to hear it. I'm just sharing it now because I want a lot of people to have this information. I want it to be out there in the world for people to have access to, because I do believe that people want this change. I just don't think a lot of people are sharing the essence of the core root of it. And for me, Virgo South Node does highlight it to a T so readily. And that's why I shared my experience as well as some examples of how you can work through it. I wanted to give you a jumping off point so you can start doing your work. And I also provided 2 beautiful forms of energy healing courses and practices that you can purchase and implement. And they have been the game changer for me. It's something that I'm so grateful that I took the plunge and decided to leave massage therapy and align my energy with something that not only cleared my codependency on such a deep level, but it also is allowing me to empower you to be your own self-healer, because these are products that you can use over and over and over again. You don't need me. What you need is a tool that will help connect you to your inner higher self. That is what you need. Because the true answers of what you need and what is going on in your body truly only comes when you do your own work and you connect in with your body. I believe that is something that's going to become more apparent more and more, is the need for people to take ownership of their own stuff. if we are wanting to see the change that I think a lot of people desire. I'm wishing you all a happy Merry Christmas, a Merry Christmas, holiday season, New Year, woohoo! And we will see you in the next video.